So, to secure a position in a symphony orchestra, the process starts with the orchestra posting an opening. And all of the available musicians, often in the United States, often abroad even, will see these openings in orchestras in the United States. And the first thing we do is we send a resume, and that's kind of the first round of the audition process. Is the committee that's doing the audition will look at the resume and see if you're even qualified to come and take the audition in the first place. So if you can make it past that round, you get a list of usually somewhere between 15 to 20 major solo pieces from the orchestral repertoire called excerpts. And you prepare those on your own for usually a couple of months, and then you fly to the city, you pay for all of the expenses yourself as the auditionee, and fly to the city where the orchestra is having the audition, and then on the first day of the audition, everybody plays. So usually, sometimes that can take more than one day, but usually it's one day and a very full day for the committee listening to every single person who's flown there play a very small amount of music. So one of the experiences that amazes people is oftentimes you will fly to the city, you'll get yourself all ready, you'll stay overnight in the hotel, you'll play for 5 minutes, and then they'll say, we don't want you. And dealing with that kind of disappointment is a really hard thing for all of us to cope with, but you have to learn to have that tough skin and work your way through it and go to the next one. If you're one of those lucky people to be chosen out of that very first call round, then you go on and they hear everybody play again, say around 15 people or so. We'll play another selection of music, and so on until they've finally narrowed it down to the person they want to pick. And in some orchestras, at that point, even after you're the last standing person at an audition, you'll occasionally be asked, before we hire you, we want you to fly back here again and play a week with the orchestra because we want to see if you fit in, both, of course, personality-wise, but especially playing-wise. And I think that's something that I did with the Colorado Symphony, and it's a very intense process for everybody involved. Now actually having been on the other side of that and being on committees where now we're hiring the people that are coming in, I can say that the committee attitude is always a lot more positive than I always envisioned it being as an auditionee, because you're always super nervous auditioning and hoping they like you. And oh no, if I make a mistake, they're gonna hate me. And what I think is fascinating about it is that, from my perspective on a committee, all I'm doing is rooting for the person that's there. I really want them to do well because I want someone that I'm loving their playing and I'm loving their music making. And if they make a couple little mistakes, that's all right. I'm still rooting for you, not against you. And I think that attitude would hopefully help a lot of auditionees to realize that those of us on the other side are really wanting you to do well. So at an orchestral audition, in the vast majority of orchestras, there's a screen throughout almost all or all of the entire process. And what I mean by a screen, essentially a giant wall that separates all of the members of the audition committee that are listening and everybody that auditions. And we even put in a carpet as people walk in so that we can't tell gender, we can't tell what they're wearing, so that we try to keep it as absolutely fair and objective as possible, where we're really trying to only evaluate the person's playing, not how old they are, not what they look like, any of that. And I think that has been a huge benefit for orchestras once they started doing that as part of the process.